Thank you so
And
much.
it is a pleasure to have you. And I have known you for a long time as a businessman, and before that as an engineer, I thought for
Yes,
briefly.
yes.
But could you tell more about yourself and what you do to our listeners, please?
Well, I come originally from India,
Mhm.
but I left India about over 40 years ago, and I came as a student to England
Mhm.
in the University of London, and I came on a scholarship, and then after that I became one of the first to work for BISRA, which was British Iron and Steel Research
Mhm.
Association.
Mhm.
And uh, after that, in 1973, we migrated, my family and myself, we migrated to Canada. And so since 1973, that's about 30 years now, I have been, my family has been living here in British Columbia.
Um, as you know, I'm quite interested to see in those early days,
G.
almost like pioneering days in the
Yes,
early 70s,
right.
how did you maintain your contact with Hinduism? And because you had a growing family, I'm quite interested what it was like.
Um, it was quite difficult originally because, but there was one advantage, and that was that Hinduism, according to my definition, is a way of life. You are not rigidly following, even if you are not going to a temple or anywhere, if you are following the principles of your life, you are as good a Hindu as somebody who is doing puja day and night.
Mhm.
So what our families in India, when I was quite young that time, they were kind of our life was basically depended on the principles which we followed from our
Dharma,
forefathers.
in a
Yes,
sense,
dharma.
precepts of dharma.
Now dharma and karma, that these two things got joined together. If you are doing a good karma, then you are following the dharma. This is the way our families follow. Though I belong to a Brahmin family, as you know,
Mhm.
but that didn't mean that we had to do the worship the way it was. But early days was difficult, particularly when I got married in England. There was hardly any institution or temple. There was one small temple in London. There was hardly any institution where you could go
Mhm.
and
Pray or
pray
worship,
or
yes.
whatever. So that was a difficult situation at that time. And when we came to Canada, we didn't have any temple here at that
Especially in
time,
Vancouver,
especially
yes.
in Vancouver. There was no temple. So in the early 70s, we started when VHP, Vishwa Hindu Parishad started, then started participating in it from the day one we reached here. And we had some good bunch of friends who
Mhm.
started
Mhm.
it, and I think you remember that time when we started the institution of Vishwa Hindu Parishad here.
So what was your main motivation? I remember you were a secretary of the organization.
Yes,
What was your main motivation? Was it social or religious or what was it?
well, as I said, I was not too much involved into like pujas and all that, but because of the fact that Hinduism gave us a hell of a lot flexibility in our lifestyle.
Mhm.
So I basically, on a social basis and meeting the people and getting these thoughts together and guiding our children towards that, we started following as the tradition goes along.
And I remember you wrote some plays which were played in Diwali or
Yes.
VHP's early programs.
Yes, India Theatre was started in 1974,
Mhm.
and I was the producer of those plays when in the Queen Elizabeth Theatre and Metro Theatre, we did plays in both in Hindi as well as in English language, and some of the good plays of Indian writers. We tried to put them up. We had a good bunch of young artists at that time who wanted to participate in that.
As you know, plays are a very good way of communicating
Right.
religious
Yes.
beliefs
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes.
precepts. Did
Yes.
you write any religious-oriented plays at that
Well,
time?
we didn't write religious plays, but what we did do was we did a 7-day Ramayana at the time of the Shara, and it was done for 7 days in the VHP, and that gave the children particularly a pretty good sight what our epics and our mythology in
And I
Hinduism.
must point out, it was before the TV series Ramayana or Mahabharata
Oh, it
came
was
along.
much earlier than that. Yes, yeah, it was very good. I had a very dedicated bunch of people that time coming along with us, and uh, very hardworking.
So coming to you and your family and your growing children,
Right.
how did you inculcate or how did you attempt to inculcate in them the Hindu values, Hindu life, because we all desire to raise our children in
Certain
a
things,
religious way.
certain things in our families are very important. For example, as far as the religious functions are concerned, and as far as the what we call fasting, like broths and all that, that it takes tradition because of my wife is a very religious person
Yeah,
also.
I am aware of that. Yes.
And she guided our children whenever she, for example, they do this fasting on Mondays. Now for 17 Mondays they will do a fasting, right? So she started getting the children, my daughters, interested into that. So they followed their mother. And
And
as
children ask right kind of questions.
they ask
sometimes.
right question, why are we doing it? Why? What is the benefit of doing it? And also how it is connected to back into our Hindu mythology. Why are they following it? So these are the questions the children, of course, in this country, they're pretty intelligent.
very appropriate questions,
Yeah, they're
of
very
course.
appropriate. And so the mother always try to explain to them why it's so important. So these traditions were followed in the family, either by going to the temple once a while or maybe on Sundays or whatever. But at the same time, there was no good function missed out even if we do it at home. So we have a temple at home where the children would sit down and do the puja or whatever we have to do, or twice a day, morning and evening, you could do little worship or whatever way you want to follow
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
definitely.
So that's how the children started.
Ashok, I'm fully aware of your profile as a businessman.
Ji.
Now, businessmen require a lot of effort into the direction of business.
Right.
And usually it creates a kind of gap, you have your time. What was the challenge of being a businessman and being involved in your family, trying to inculcate these Hindu values?
You see, Anandji, let me tell you one thing, that being a businessman is a way you earn your living. But there is more than that in your life. Business, either you are working somewhere, doing a job or doing a business, that is the way you are earning your living for your family. But as far as your personal life is concerned, you have to have much more than that. And in my opinion, the way our life, mine and my family's life has come up, is over the years, we always made sure that religion stays a part of our life. And that gives us mental expansion, mental attitude, for what is good and what's bad. What is why children have got to, and we have been very fortunate. Our children followed that route, and today they have progressed in life.
In fact, it's a very interesting point you are raising. When we got uprooted from home country,
Right.
came here,
Yes.
and we were too involved with searching for a living and kind of establishing ourselves.
Right.
There was a kind of spiritual vacuum.
Of course.
And we sought out some ways. Now we pass the seeds on to children,
Right.
and they
Yes.
carry
Yes.
it on.
You see, this was the biggest challenge which we had in the family. If my it's strange. I just want to tell you this thing that all three of our children came. Two of them at least came through the Catholic convents in Vancouver. They were going to Catholic schools, and up to grade 7, they went to Catholic school. The reason was we wanted them to have a feeling of the other religion so that they understand the difference between Hinduism and any other religion. So this became kind of a ground level training for them to understand other religion and respect other religion. So this way now they can, you see, it's always said that if you follow your religion and respect your religion, only then you can respect the other religion.
True, yes.
So this was the reason. And my children, because they came from the Catholic training in their childhood and came into Hinduism afterwards, and we tried to tell them how this world is all about.
Well, how do you see the role of Hindus living in a Western society?
This is a very important question. I think I see a lot of children who are this next generation and the next generation. And the way we people are, particularly the Hindus, are training their children, and they are giving them enough incentive to follow the principles of the Hinduism, I don't see any problem whatsoever. Because let me reiterate another point here. You might know that a lot of Hindus in Vancouver came through Fiji, and they came through Caribbean.
Yes.
And those Hindus who came from Fiji, they are about 4th to 5th generation, and they have kept this religion alive on the same way as we are doing that in Canada today. So this is nothing new for us to keep it alive and keep it progressing.
So the flame moves on from one generation to the other.
Exactly.
And now, of course, compared to the times when you came,
right,
there was no internet. Now internet is full of Hindu
yes.
sites.
Oh, yes.
And even Aaradhana has got a site
Yes.
address now. So people can go to these sites, get information, and there is Mahabharata and Ramayana and all these TV programs.
And
It's tremendous.
You can read
amount of
all
material.
about the mythology, about religion, about the old books. You can read almost everything on internet now, which is really fantastic. Even some of the Swamis who are in India today, they have got their own websites.
That's
also.
right.
You can go through those ones. And so as the world is progressing, I just explained to you that I don't see any problem whatsoever.
Still, parental position is very important. What parents give to their children. What kind of example
that
they
is
set.
following the children will follow the example of the parents, and this is important, of course. Yes.
So, do you have any suggestion for young parents now raising their children in this rich environment?
You see,
what they can do to bring out that flame?
I only suggest to the young parents is that whatever seeds you will sow to these young children at a very young age, that will see them through much more difficulties later on. And the thing is that you have to practice Hinduism the way you want them to learn in future.
Can you give an example of this?
The example is that they should, first of all, the parents must understand what our functions are and why they are.
True.
Because the children are going to ask those questions. And once they understand that part, then try to participate in them. If you can't do it yourself at home or whatever, go to the temple and see how it's being done, and try to get the significance, try to teach the children why are we doing. The question always comes up, why do we do it? Like Murti Puja, for example, a lot of questions are,
yes.
Idol worshipping. Now a lot of people ask, why do you have so many gods? For example, Hinduism is so vast, you don't have to worship all the 84,000 whatever they are, you can just worship one. Even
No,
still
you made a very good point that
Yeah.
by setting a proper example,
Right.
parents can
Yeah.
achieve the same goal
Yes.
with all this information. Even today,
Yes.
parental role is important.
Parental role is extremely important, but then don't give them the wrong information. Whatever, if you don't have the answer, ask somebody else. Ask Panditji or somebody, so that you can get the answer. Why do we do these things? And now we have, as you know, we are now in 2003, and we have so many temples here, we have so many pandits here. You can always ask the question, and you will get the answer. Otherwise, go to the internet. You will get the answer for almost any question which comes out of the religious activities.
The reason I ask you that question, because as a businessman, you probably were in general short of time, and today's parents are also very short of time because there are so many things to do. So,
Yes.
so you are suggesting that they should live the message they are trying to teach to their children.
Exactly. You see, as I said, there will always be shortage of time. In our time also there was a shortage of time because we were very, very busy in our life. But then to bring out the message of giving them the right answer for the future is so important, so extremely important. And this is the message which all parents, young parents particularly, should be departing to their children. Yes.
Well, could you make one single comment about what they should do as a grandparent?
Yes.
Like your generation, you moved on from the role
Right.
as a father. Now.
Right.
As a grandparent, what do you do to inculcate the same sense in your grandchildren?
You see, in Hinduism, one thing which we have been taught is that our respect for the elders. For example, if the grandparents are teaching something to their grandchildren, why are they doing that? So the respect, you might have noticed this thing in our community, that when our grandparents get older, they are not sent into rest houses and guest houses. Their own children are looking after them.
I can see the hint you are giving.
That's it. So this is so important, because that's what we are teaching in this religion, that your prime responsibility of your grandparents and great grandparents is that you look after them at the old age. This is a religious connotation in there, but at the same time you have to go along with your traditions. You see?
Ashok, I really appreciate your coming. I have to respect the time limits of this program.
Thank you so much.
But I appreciate your coming and sharing with us
Anandji,
some of your thoughts about Hinduism.
I'm so glad that you called me, and whatever way I can, give any of my experiences in life to the audience I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.